What is going on, ProGuides family? It's your host Sergeant Frost with the patch 2.07 rundown. I know these patch notes got leaked to the public not so long ago, but let's go through it officially this time and see what might have changed. Also, be on the lookout for a tier list coming out soon for patch 2.07. Now, let's hop right into the video. Let's start the patch notes off with the agent changes. The game devs are giving Astra a pretty big quality of life change on her gravity well, and I'm all for it honestly. When the community understands how much stronger this ability just got, Astra might shoot up the tier list and become the premier controller after this update. The way she's going to be able to mind game opponents and use her gravity well to stop diffuses is going to be next to none in the controller class. Gravity well now pulls agents that are defusing the spike. If they are pulled out of the diffuse range, the diffuse will now be interrupted. Here's a quick quote on the Astra changes from the devs. Astra gets a quick boost this patch, focused on removing a counterintuitive rule where her gravity well doesn't affect those who are defusing the spike. We want to try and keep our ability interactions as consistent and as easy to learn as possible, and allow you to explore ways to leverage agent abilities without running into unexpected walls. We think this update can create some pretty interesting interactions post-plant where enemies try to bait out the gravity well and play around its cooldown. As always, we'll keep an eye on her new post-plant impact overall. This is a revolutionary change for Astra, because now her defensive prowess as an agent has increased significantly. Astra has been known in the meta to be a defensive-minded controller because her abilities act like traps when you put them down in sight. Well, now that Gravity Well is an anti-planting device, this will create a meta where Astra players on defense will pre-place stars in default plant spots, with hopes to cancel a plant from far away. This could be a meta-changing event because now Astra is public enemy number 1 when she is still alive on defense. The power she now has as an agent to stop a plant can honestly win a round if she times it right. And when her economy is booming and she has all 5 of her stars, she can now afford to sprinkle her stars on multiple bomb sites on a map, and she has the power to potentially stop a plant at will. This change is huge for Astra, because right now we're in an attacker-focused meta, and a nice defensive-minded change for Astra could put a little bit of the power back in defense's hands within this meta. Now, let's quickly move on to RAZE because she only got a few quality of life changes. RAZE is not getting any huge gameplay changes to her kit, but she is getting some nice quality of life buffs that make it easier to fight her. Audio cues have been added to indicate when she's boosted in the air from her blast packs.
Satchel out. Satchel out.
Explosion and showstopper visual effects have been updated so they are less obscuring and clear out of the play space faster. Riot is trying to level the playing field when you need to ground a flying RAZE. These changes don't impact her fighting capabilities within her kit, but they do give a much better chance for the opposing team to run away and hide when RAZE takes off the runway. The bottom line for this change is that if you're playing against a RAZE in game, turn your headset up so that you can hear the enhanced sound cues so you have a lot better chance of hearing a RAZE coming. For the last agent change, let's talk about Viper. Viper was dealing with some pretty unfortunate bugs after the last patch in terms of how her decay was applied to enemies. Let us hope that the devs have gotten a hold on why these bugs were existing, and let's hope that we don't see them again after this patch. They fixed a bug when calculating if damage taken while decayed should be lethal for players with armor. Here's the quote describing what Riot changed with the Viper bug fix. After digging into reports about martial shots not killing enemies that had taken 50 decay, we discovered a bug tied to the way the game determines if taking damage should be lethal to decayed targets with armor at specific health breakpoints. We think the bugged interaction with the martial was by far the most common, but we'll watch how this bug fix affects the recently buffed Viper's overall power. Viper had quite a few bugs after her rework, so it's great to see Riot cleaning up their mistakes to make her abilities a lot more consistent in game. Now for some quality of life changes, the devs have improved the feel of the ping wheel selection tool. This should now feel a lot more predictable to use. Also, Cypher tripwire is now displayed to observers with the associated team color. Now, let's talk about some of these bug fixes. The community harped on Riot for several bugs that presented themselves after the launch of patch 2.06. So, this patch looks to have a lot of bug fixes to clean up all the issues that arose a couple weeks ago. I'm going to read off some of the bug fixes for anyone that's interested to know. They fixed an issue where spectators and observers could sometimes see incorrect aim vectors for scoped-in sniper rifles when switching between views. The incorrect view would settle to the correct position over about 1 second. The correct view now immediately shows. And now let's get into the agent's bugs fix list. Yoru can no longer plant the spike after using Gatecrash while his dimensional shift is active. This bug was god-awful, and I'm so glad to see it's gone. It was honestly ruining games. The devs fixed an unintended dome in the sky that Astra saw if she came out of astral form while Omen is ulting. They fixed a bug where placing Killjoy's turret next to Sage's barrier orb would sometimes break it. Cypher can no longer place spy cam in cybercage projectiles. They fixed an issue where Killjoy's disabled alarm bots would chase faraway targets that ran by them when it was re-enabled. And they fixed an issue where Sky's guiding light appeared to go underground when directly thrown down. For competitive changes, they fixed the various localization issues with the server selector and the promotion screen. And they fixed a bug that was causing the match history filter to function incorrectly. Well everyone, that's all we have for this patch 2.07 rundown. If you liked the video, then be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing if you enjoyed the content. Don't forget to be on the lookout for a patch 2.07 tier list, which should be coming out soon. This has been your host Sergeant Frost with the patch rundown, and I will see you all in the next one.